A very good evening, viewers. You're watching 6 Stories at 6 and I'm Raksha Mishra with you. We have a power pack lineup of stories. First, we start with how Hindu pilgrims, Hindu devotees were stopped by Pakistan from entering the border for visiting Nankana Sahib on the occasion of Guru Parb. That is the hypocrisy and that is the that bigotry of Pakistan that is on full display this time once again. Viewers, we also bring you how Katta politics has taken center stage in Bihar as RJD makes a child endorse openly gun culture. And it's Rahul Gandhi once again making claims on vote chori, this time in Haryana. We'll tell you what Election Commission of India has said on that. Also, it's a big development coming in Major Vikrant Jaitley's case, who is in UAE. Also, mega defense deals positioning India as a major arms exporter, defense exporter, once again bringing to focus Atmanirbharta. And finally, we'll tell you how Zohran Mamdani is the next New York mayor. But first, there is a breaking news that is coming in right now that we start with. We have some breaking news coming in, and okay, I think this is an update on Anil Ambani. Okay, there is breaking news coming in. We're going to start the show with the breaking news. Okay, it's impact of Anil Ambani scam report. SFIO commences probe in the case. SFIO has commenced a probe into entities linked to Anil Ambani group, and the MCA has asked SFIO probe alleged corporate governance issues and financial irregularities. Roles of banks, auditors to be investigated, directors, promoters to be summoned in due course. So SFIO commences investigation into Anil Ambani group. This is the bank fraud case. Viewers, Anil Ambani, the situation only getting grimmer for Anil Ambani. More trouble for Anil Ambani's Reliance Group. And this is a probe. Already we see the government has launched a probe. The Corporate Affairs Ministry, SFIO, to probe the charges. So this is a fresh setback coming in for Anil Ambani government, launching a fraud probe into the Reliance Group. That's the breaking news we have right now, viewers. So the SFIO is actually Serious Fraud Investigation Office, statutory agency in India tasked with investigating corporate fraud. So the government now is now investigating this case, this corporate fraud, this loan scam, and this is the latest update we have. Senior editor Shavan Sen joins us live on the broadcast from the newsroom. Shavan, well, the woes are mounting for Anil Ambani. Now the SFIO has launched a probe into the fraud.
Well, in fact, along with the Enforcement Directorate, the SFIO will also be carrying out a further investigation. This would be under the Companies Act. What we are given to understand is that a preliminary inquiry was essentially done. Based on the preliminary report, the SFIO will be looking into whether at all there have been further violations of the Companies Act, particularly with the diversion of funds that has actually taken place. Now, it's important to highlight that there have been certain diversion of funds, particularly funds that have actually come in from the banks as loans, starting with Yes Bank in the year 2017 and 2019, between 2017 and 2019. This loan was further diverted to related entities. Now, that is the reason why, remember, they suspect that there has been siphoning of funds. This very tranche of loan was thereafter again used to pay some of the old loans. So it does not end with 2019. Thereafter, loans that were secured from the State Bank of India, Bank of Baroda, and a list of other such loans that are coming in, this was basically being diverted to other companies. That is where the serious fraud investigation is actually going to take place. This would be under the Companies Act. It certainly means more trouble for Anil Ambani linked entities at this point in time, because you have the Enforcement Directorate freezing the assets of Anil Ambani, which includes 40 such properties. worth about 7,500 crore rupees, and the fact that, remember, the lenders were essentially taken for a jolly good ride by Anil Ambani by flouting certain rules and regulations. The very fact that despite weak financials, you've essentially had Anil Ambani companies actually getting the further loan from these banks raises some very serious questions.
Right. So the ED case revolves around the loans raised by this group, but you're telling me now that this investigation, the fresh investigation that has been now ordered, goes back to a lot more aspects, and it goes into a deeper investigation that seems to even greater trouble for Anil Ambani, Shaban.
Well, there wouldn't be much of a punitive action if you really look at it from the SFIO point of view, because there are limited, punitive action that the SFIO can really take at this stage. But remember, this comes at a time when SEBI has also launched a full-fledged investigation based on SEBI's report that the Enforcement Directorate and the Central Bureau of Investigation had basically carried out a full-fledged investigation. Right now, the worry for Anil Ambani-linked companies would be only from the Enforcement Directorate, because in the coming few months, it is expected that the Enforcement Directorate would be filing their prosecution complaint, which is essentially a charge sheet that is going to be filed. Anil Ambani has already been, called in for questioning by the Enforcement Directorate. In the coming few days, perhaps it is also the SFIO intensifying their investigation. They would also be looking at this aspect.
All right. Many thanks, Shaban, for joining us with those details coming in. Republic TV getting you that big breaking news as the SFIO has now commenced a probe into the case. Now, going back to viewers, the top 6 stories of the day we're tracking for you. It's a diplomatic controversy. It has erupted after several Hindu pilgrims were stopped at the Atari Wagah border while heading to Pakistan for Guru Purab celebrations. Now, several of these pilgrims who were Hindus were travelling as part of a Sikh Jatha who were denied entry by Pakistani authorities despite having valid visas. We get you all the exclusive details in this report.
A diplomatic controversy erupted at the Atari Wagah border after several Hindu pilgrims from India were stopped while travelling to Pakistan's Gurudwara Nankana Sahib for Guru Nanak Dev Ji's birth anniversary. This was the first major border crossing since Operation Sindoor in May, which has led to the temporary closure of all crossings with the neighbouring country. Despite Pakistan issuing over 2,100 visas to Indian devotees nearly a month earlier, many Hindu pilgrims were stopped at immigration on the Pakistani side and denied entry. They spoke exclusively to Republic.
हम चले गए इमिग्रेशन करवा के बस पे। जैसे हम लोग बस पे बैठे तो हमारी 7 से 13 नंबर सीट थी, तो 4-5 आदमी कम पड़ रहे हैं भाई, 4-5 आदमी आएंगे तो बस आपकी चली जाएगी नानकाना साहब के लिए। इतने में 2 वर्दी वाले और 3 बगैर वर्दी के सिविल ड्रेस में आ गए। बोले आप कौन होते हो? हमने बोला जी हम हिंदू हैं। कि आप कितने हिंदू? हमने कहा हमारे ग्रुप में 7 हैं। कह रहा उतराओ नीचे। हमने कहा ऐसा क्या है, पूछ के कर रहे हैं कि क्या हुआ, आप उतरो तो सही। हम डर गए जी, हमारे पसीने छूट गए।
The group, including families from Delhi and Lucknow, described the experience as humiliating, alleging that Pakistani officials targeted them solely for being Hindus.
से पूछा कि आप हिंदू हो तो नहीं जा सकते। इस देश के 120 करोड़ हिंदुओं का अपमान है। मैं आपके चैनल के माध्यम से आदरणीय प्रधानमंत्री और आदरणीय गृह मंत्री जी से ये निवेदन करता हूं कि हिंदुओं का अपमान का बदला, ये कोई अमरचंद का अपमान नहीं हुआ, ये हिंदू जाति का बदनाम करना अपमान किया इन्होंने।
Officials in Amritsar confirmed that Hindu pilgrims were forced to return to India, even though their passports bore Pakistani immigration stamps, proving they had been initially cleared.
आपको बोल रहे थे कि आप हिंदू हो, आपको एंट्री नहीं है।
हाँ जी, आप
वीजा दिखाइए, आपका वीजा दिखाइए। अभी आपने वीजा दिखाया ना, दिखाइए वीजा आपका।
ये स्टैंप है 8 तारीख के 4 तारीख के, और ये जो ब्लैक वाला
कैंसिल लिखा है, कैंसिल लिखा है, वही है ना, कैंसिल जो लिखा है।
ये कैंसिल के नीचे जो गोल मोहर है ना,
हाँ जी, हाँ जी,
उन्होंने हमारा एंट्री करके क्लियर करा था कि आप जाके बस में बैठ जाइए, अपना जाके नानकाना साहब जाइए। फिर उसके बाद जैसे बस से आए ना, कैंसिल वाला मोहर जो लंबा है उसके ऊपर तब लगाया गया है।
They also claimed that such actions are aimed at creating a rift between Hindu and Sikh communities.
तो हिंदू को जाने नहीं देंगे तो गुरुद्वारा सिखों का है तो हमारे को बस में उतार के भेज दिया।
The development at the Atari-Wagah border is a reflection of Pakistan's treatment to Hindus, the persecuted minorities in the country.
And Bihar is all set for the first phase of polls tomorrow, but the politics has turned dangerously dark. Shocking video from Tejasvi Yadav's rally in Samastipur has triggered uproar. A child on stage, smiling, publicly glorifies guns and violence. In response, BJP has hit back on RJD's jungle Raj politics. Take a look.
Bihar's political battlefield is already tense. And it exploded into a controversy after this video went viral. A child, not even a teenager, holding the mic and bragging about guns. The crowd laughs, the leaders clap, they smile, no one stops him, but encourages him for his words. And that is what has triggered outrage. The remarks have fueled the BJP and NDA's Jungle Raj narrative against the RJD and its alliance partners, something that Prime Minister Modi has highlighted a day earlier during an election rally in Saharsa.
आरजेडी और कांग्रेस की डिक्शनरी में क्या शब्द है, क्या भावनाएं भरी पड़ी है, क्या आदतें जुड़ी हुई है। आरजेडी और कांग्रेस इनकी डिक्शनरी में कट्टा, क्रूरता, कटुता, कुसंस्कार, कुशासन और करप्शन ऐसे ही शब्द भरे पड़े हैं। जंगल राज की पाठशाला में इन्होंने बस यही सीखा है।
The BJP shared the video on their X handle in which the child could be seen smiling and addressing the RJD supporters in the rally in Mohiuddin Nagar in Samastipur. Amit Malviya even went on to say that this was RJD's Tejasvi education model. The BJP said that in their school, every child learns Ka se Katta. The remark comes at a time when RJD is claiming Bihar has changed. But how do you forget the past when even a child is romanticizing bullets? Who taught him this song? Who normalized this idea that leadership equals violence? The RJD reacted on the controversy, saying it was the Prime Minister who first spoke about Katta at an election rally. Meanwhile, the NDA has hit back at the RJD over the use of a child to further their politics. The controversy comes just a day ahead of phase 1 of polling in the state, with the results due to be announced on the 14th of November. But the question voters face now is stark. Does Bihar want jobs, progress and education, or a political model where even children speak the language of guns?
And India's indigenous defense manufacturing sector is set for a major boost with two significant export deals nearing completion. One with Indonesia for the BrahMos supersonic cruise missile and another with Armenia for advanced air defense systems, which includes the Akash next generation surface-to-air missile variant viewers. And all this is, of course, the impact of Operation Sindoor, and comes as also a very important push for strategic partnerships with Indonesia and also Armenia. Here's the full story. A major boost for India's indigenous defense industry. Multiple defense pacts on the cards. India and Indonesia are all set to finalize a major defense deal for the purchase of the BrahMos supersonic cruise missile. The agreement is in its final stages and awaits approval from Russia, which co-develops the missile system with India. Defense sources say that almost all procedures in the negotiations have been completed. The deal, once cleared, will mark a major step forward in India's growing defense cooperation with Southeast Asia. The deal was deliberated during a high-level visit to New Delhi in January this year, when top Indonesian political and military leaders met the Indian counterparts. Recently, India's Chief of Defence Staff General Anil Ambani also visited Indonesia, signifying the strengthening strategic and defence ties between the two nations. Meanwhile, India and Armenia are also on the verge of signing a separate major defense agreement valued between $3.5 and $4 billion. It is expected to include the Akash new generation surface-to-air missile variant, known for its extended range and enhanced interception capabilities. The upcoming deal builds on a previous $720 million contract for 15 Akash systems, which made Armenia the first foreign buyer of India's indigenous Akash missiles. Both deals align with India's Make in India initiative, aiming to boost the country's defense industrial base to $26 billion by the end of this decade. It also comes as a boost for India's growing role as a major global defense exporter, strengthening ties with key allies, showcasing indigenous technological prowess. Today is another day, another vote chori claim made by Rahul Gandhi, and it's another rebuttal by Election Commission of India. But with less than 24 hours for the first phase of Bihar Assembly polls, Rahul Gandhi is still stuck with his poll-drubbing hangover in Haryana. The Congress MP claims 25 lakh votes were manipulated, but the Election Commission fact-checked Rahul yet again. Here's more.
You're absolutely sure she's not from Haryana? Okay, but she votes 22 times in Haryana. And she votes in 10 different booths in Haryana. She's got multiple names. Seema, Sweetie, Saraswati. Why I'm opening with this slide is because this happens in 10 booths. That means that this is a centralized operation.
The Election Commission has once again hit back at Congress MP Rahul Gandhi's vote chori claim in Haryana elections. The poll body sources maintained that Rahul's claims are unfounded and pointed out that there have been zero appeals against electoral rolls in the state. The response came after Rahul Gandhi cited electoral list data from Haryana. He claimed that 25 lakh entries were fake and that the assembly polls last year were rigged.
BJP leader, house number 150, 66 voters living in his house. 66 people do not live in his house. BJP man. Right? BJP Vice Chairman Zilla Parishad Palwal. He's allowed to have 66 voters on the list by saying they're in his house. Forget him. Let's go to house number 265. One house, 500 voters. We go looking for them, we can't find them. They don't exist. We don't know where they are. Why? So that you have no way of checking whether these people exist, don't exist, where they vote, didn't vote, how they voted, etc.
He also alleged that the CEC and 2 election commissioners colluded with the BJP to ensure its victory in Haryana. Soon after, Rahul addressed a press conference. The Chief Electoral Officer of Haryana put out key facts related to the state polls. The CEO stated that several important points have already been clarified by EC regarding the electoral process in Haryana. Meanwhile, the BJP dismissed Rahul's allegations of large-scale electoral fraud in Haryana as a diversionary tactic ahead of the Bihar polls.
फोटोग्राफ, नकली नाम, नकली इशू लेकर के राहुल गांधी और कांग्रेस पार्टी समय समय में बोलते रहते हैं। आप सबको अच्छी तरह से मालूम है। आज उन्होंने बिहार में 2 दिन बाद पोलिंग होगा और उससे हट करके हरियाणा का कहानी सुना रहे थे। इससे साफ मालूम हो गया कि बिहार में तो कुछ बचा नहीं है, इसलिए ध्यान को भटकाने के लिए हरियाणा के इशू को लेके आ रहे हैं और फजूल के बातें लेकर के एक प्रस्तुतिकरण किया है। मैं उस पर नहीं जाना चाहता हूं क्योंकि सब फर्जी था।
Emphasizing that there was no logic behind Gandhi's vote chori charges, Rijiju said that India's Gen Z and youth stand firmly with Prime Minister Modi.
क्या वो जेन जी को उकसाने की बात करते हैं? हमारे देश के लोग समझदार हैं। देश के पूरा युवा पीढ़ी, पूरा न्यू जनरेशन मोदी जी के साथ खड़ा है, क्योंकि दुनिया इकोनॉमिक स्लो डाउन में गुजर रहे हैं। भारत 7% से ऊपर इकोनॉमिक ग्रोथ रेट होकर के फास्टेस्ट ग्रोइंग इकोनॉमी, बड़ा अर्थव्यवस्था बना हुआ है, तो इसमें हमारा युवा वर्ग मोदी जी के साथ खड़ा है।
Once again, Rahul Gandhi has claimed to have dropped a hydrogen bomb, but the Election Commission, with its response, reduced it to a dud.
And an important development has come in Selina Jaitley's brother's case. Okay, we will continue to get you more details on that case, but for right now, that's all that we could pack in this edition of 6 Stories at 6. We'll be right back with live and breaking. Don't go anywhere.